Today is your lucky day. You've been invited to a party at James Franco's house, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to hang with the stars. But unfortunately, your timing kind of sucks. The end of the world, as prophesied in the book of Revelations, occurs before you make it to the party. Now you're trapped in a life and death struggle. You're forced to confront not only the demons of hell, but a bunch of seriously tweaked out Hollywood A-listers. Will you be raptured up to heaven, or be damned for all time? Welcome to This Is the End, 3D. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like my friend Aaron said, not the 2013 movie you'd expect to come to Halloween Horror Nights. But I believe, as Bane once said, that comes later. Horrible impersonation, sorry. Can't do Tom Hardy. Now, I will say right now that there is a couple details about this maze that I want to break down real quick. And it's officially announced now, so we can talk about it. Now, this has been the aforementioned Outside the Box property. And John Murdy said there was a property that he could possibly get in some trouble for. This might be it. And this also is going to have a lot of really dark elements to it. And I'm going to talk about those dark elements in this video. Now, apparently, before the movie even came out, some people involved with the film, obviously, I'm going to guess be Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, as well as James Franco and Jonah Hill, who are also, most of them at least, fans of Halloween Horror Nights in general. Franco especially goes to horror nights. I hear about him going on the regular for event nights. And they help collaborate with John Murdy and Chris Williams and the creative team to come up with the perfect way to bring this property to Halloween Horror Nights. Now, this is historical in the means that this is the first ever comedic maze in Hollywood's history. Now, Orlando's been doing this for years. It's like riding a bike. But in Hollywood, this is new territory, brand new territory, and some might say forbidden territory. Depends on how you look at things. But this is going to be a dark comedic maze. And to add to it, it's going to be in 3D. So, yeah, who called 3D for this maze first? This guy right here. Why? Because I thought it'd make the most sense. Well, let's talk about it. They're going to be focusing a lot more on the apocalypse aspect. And there's going to be demons, and there's going to be creatures. And you're also going to deal with the rapture. But whether you end up in heaven or hell, that's pretty much up to you. My guess, based upon the movie itself, I would say that Backstreet will be back. Alright, if you know what I mean. This is very risky. Murdy knows the risks here, and sometimes big risk equals big reward. Sometimes you fall flat on your face. It's a gamble here, but Murdy's willing to take it. And it's a very ballsy property to try to go after. It's not horror. It's not comedy. It's kind of like right in the middle. I mean, it's comedic horror, I guess you could say right now. I mean, it's more of a comedy than a horror movie, obviously. But there's horror aspects to it that can make it a really sweet maze. Now, this is outside the box because when I said Murdy likes to take risks, he's done so before with La Llorona, and he also did that with all the Rocker mazes and Monsters Remix. And even bringing back Halloween Horror Nights after a 6-year absence was a huge risk. But if he could do it all over again, obviously John Murdy wouldn't change a thing. Makes complete sense. Now we're going to go beyond exactly what we saw in the film. Some creative liberties are going to be involved here, most definitely. And the fact that the facade being located in the Mummy Queue is going to be completely flipped this year, which is something that my good friend Tristan, HHN Fan 16, also said way before this was announced. And that is because forced perspective will get us to realize the massive in quote marks, location of the James Franco house post-apocalypse. Now, one thing I think will probably be a part of this, given the fact that we had the Gecko Brothers in From Dusk Till Dawn, and we had Tucker and Specs outside of Insidious. I think this is going to be an opportunity for there to be a character dressed very familiar as Michael Cera, who is impaled, and he is probably complaining about something like a lost cell phone, like he did in the film before he found it out of his pocket after he got impaled, and he died and got sent in the sunk hole. I would state right now that that person is probably going to be accosting people, yelling about warnings and everything, and hitting on women. I think it's going to be super fun if they do it that way. And granted, I think this is going to push the envelope to the highest point that it's ever been pushed in Horror Nights Hollywood history, and I think that's the right direction to go. I think that's the direction we're going to go this year, and I think it's going to be really fun to see where we go when we actually get there. Now, another thing that is big in this, and that was the big rumor that everybody's saying, this is the reason, this is the reason, this is the reason why this is the end is being done, and that's the fact of Jonah Hill has an exorcism in this movie, and this may or may not be the closest that John Murdy ever gets to being able to get his iconic exorcist brought to Halloween Horror Nights, given the fact that the rights have been absolutely impossible to get. So we're going to see an exorcism scene, but it's going to be played for comedy, so it should be rather interesting. And there's also a focus on someone I don't like, and that's Danny McBride. He has a cannibal gang, and obviously the cannibal gang runs into James Franco, and if you saw the movie, you know, well, things don't end very well. So, yeah, that's something we also look forward to seeing in the house. There's a lot of rumors that in the maze we're actually going to see some video from Jonah Hill. That was a big rumor, and I would say you're probably going to see video from Seth Rogen and Danny McBride, and even there's a possibility you could see Craig Robinson and Jay Baruchel, and most definitely going to see James Franco. And not just characters that are lookalikes, you might actually see them as video of part of this maze. And honestly, I could see a possible Penn and Teller situation, because I think there's a chance you could see one or more of them come to the actual event and be inside the maze every once in a while. That's just speculation based upon what I'm thinking, but I don't know anything yes or no about that. It's probably like a logistics nightmare, given the fact that it would stop the line dead in its tracks, and they probably don't need any help doing that, since they're so congested anyways. But still, I think it'd be a really awesome thing, because Hollywood kind of still pulses somewhat, even though Orlando definitely does not. At least hasn't the last several years. So, why did I think this was going to be 3D? Here's the question. Well, the reason why I thought it was going to be 3D is I thought it made perfect sense. And I'm not just basing it on the fact that Clowns 3D Music by Slash was actually 3D last year. And the 3D is not going to be the UV 3D that was used in Clowns 3D Music by Slash, Black Sabbath 13, and Alice Cooper Goes to Hell. No, it's actually going to be the 3D that was utilized in House of a Thousand Corpses, and that means it's going to be a lot darker 3D. If you watch a 3D film, you would notice that it actually makes your images a lot darker. So I think it's going to be a lot of the... If you wanted a comparison, I would think, not exactly, but what I would say the 3D is normally the red and blue glasses you got from like the 50s and stuff you got before 3D and digital became a big thing. And now it's pretty much a dying technology, at least in my town. But I would think that you have those mazes which represent the red and blue, and I think you have House of a Thousand Corpses, and now This Is the End representing the regular 3D glasses you see in movie theaters now. I'm looking around to see if I have any handy. I do not. I can't grab them. They're over there. So, or back there, or back there. They're all around me, but I don't have a way to grab them. So yeah, that's what we've got. So the 3D, I think, will be a nice utilization. I don't think the colors will necessarily pop as much as you're expecting them to, but the drug trip scene and the party scenes, I think, are going to make it even better. And a soundtrack, who knows? Based upon the movie itself, we got a possibility that we're going to hear Psy, MIA, and the Backstreet Boys in the same maze. You can't go wrong with that. It's going to be like a sensory and auditory explosion. And it's going to be crazy, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Unfortunately, I can't see it live because I'm not able to go to Hollywood this year. I really would like to be able to go to Hollywood this year, and the only way I'm going to be able to go to Hollywood this year is if I am fortunate enough to win that Fandango Crimson Peak contest, which is the only chance I have to go to Hollywood this year. I enter contests all the time and try to win trips and everything. I usually don't win, but I do try. I mean, you can't win if you don't enter, right? And Orlando proved already this year that you can win sometimes. You do win. I did win, but we'll talk about that at another time. That'll be more of an Orlando video. But yeah, that's pretty much what we've got. I think This Is the End is going to be rather interesting. I think they're going to be pretty much balls to the wall here. I think that it's going to be basically a lot different than what you're expecting. I think that Hollywood is going to take to a comedy house a lot different than they have in the past. I think that there's not as much backlash as you would expect from this property. A lot of people were really excited about it, and a lot of people were really interested to see exactly how they pull it off. And I know that I have complete faith that John Murdy, Chris Williams, and the creative team will be able to pull off a really successful maze this year at Halloween Horror Nights. So that is your fifth maze for Halloween Horror Nights. And our sixth actually just got announced, and that video is actually upcoming in a few minutes. So I will be doing that video forthcoming. So real quick, if you want to get all the news from John Murdy and the creative team, you can check out at Horror Nights on Twitter. While you're at it, you can go ahead and go to Twitter and check out me, Sir Owen Disney. It's at Sir Owen Disney on Twitter. While you are around your social media, why don't you click over to Facebook? And we have a Facebook fan page here for Pop, and you can like that Facebook fan page. It's under Sir Owen Disney Pop, or search for Sir Owen Disney and Pop, and you'll be able to find it. So yeah, Sir Owen Disney Pop is the actual address, but actually it's listed as Sir Owen Disney and Pop, so I can promote both ways. Also, you can find some regular segments here on Pop on MoviePilot.com. You can check out Versus, AJ's movie reviews, Halloween Horror Nights news from both coasts, as well as Gaming with Ash at MoviePilot.com/Sir Owen Disney. And just announced last weekend, haven't got a chance to really jump on this, but Pop has a mobile app now. Yeah, thanks to Download Incorporated for being able to come up with a mobile app for us. You can find it if you go to iTunes right now. You have an iOS device. You can check out Sir Owen Disney, or there is a link here in the bottom of the description bar. You can check that out. Check out the Halloween Horror Nights forums at USH Forums, as well as Horror Night Nightmares. Check out some great Halloween Horror Nights related sites like DesigningFear.com and SoCalHorrorFans.com. And while you're at it, check out some really awesome Halloween Horror Nights updaters like HHN Phantom, HHN Fanboy, First Class Horror, Thrill Seeker Network, HHN Updated 1, HHN Fan 16, and the Horror Nights updaters, the regular channel Horror Nights updaters, Psycho Massacre Films, Dr. Emmett Brown 1, UK HHN, The Red Steel TV, and Crazy Englishman. Check out all these awesome gentlemen talking Halloween Horror Nights, and that's all we've got for today, and I will join you guys in just a minute for the Alien vs. Predator announcement. So, until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I gotta say about that.